growth, the process of increasing in size. A feature that is both individual, intrinsic, and throughout nature.
This is going to be so interesting, you know.
This is the moment we have been waiting for.
I'm feeling it now.
What has come before is now consigned to the history books. This new decade brings new challenges, new rivals, falling giants, and new beginnings.
Bang, bang, bang! 3 shots to the heart.
Oh,
at the back end. Oh, no!
Those who are climbing will meet. Who will fall by the wayside, and who will embody growth.
There's still wheel to wheel!
That is unbelievable!
League of Europe, growth or fade.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, mothers, fathers, daughters, sons, brothers and sisters. Welcome to the League of Europe season number 2, round number 8, here at Paul Ricard in France. My name is King Kodiak and I'll be one of your commentators throughout this evening's race. Now joining me in the commentary box once again, always happy to say, is the best of the Badgers. Guten Abend, Herr Smith. Wie geht's?
Good evening, Kodiak. Good evening, dear viewers. Yeah, I'm doing well. I'm very excited for this one. France, a track that I know a lot of people do not like. I know a lot of drivers do not like. But from a commentator's perspective, I gotta say the races I've commentated here, there are quite a few interesting and exciting ones. The final sector invites drivers to battle a little bit and go side by side for a couple corners. So I think we should be in for a good one.
Yeah, now, Paul Ricard is one of these circuits that I confess I'm not a huge fan of in its real life, guys, but in sim racing form, it has generated some amazing moments. Very, Sochi, similar kind of deal there, certainly as far as I'm concerned. I prefer its esports variant to its real life version. Now, that's very overcast. Very, very overcast. We've got a few new names. 18 drivers take to the track once again. Another wonderful turnout. Let's have a look at who we have got. Black Panther in the AlphaTauri out on track. We have got Exy in the Red Bull, yet to leave the pits. Vino in the McLaren. We have got HWM Merckx. I think Merckx has changed the letters at the beginning of his name. I'm sure it wasn't HMW last time. But either way...
Yeah, it was IRL.
No, I thought it was. Now I wonder. Jacob's just said in chat, I see some rain happening on the Sunday, so we think we have a bit of a soggy race coming. Oh, lovely! This track is hard enough at the dry.
It certainly is. I mean, we look at the tires very quickly, and we see here it's the C4, C3, C2 compounds for the dry.
Right in the
C4,
middle of the range.
Softest. Yeah, the middle of the range. The soft compound lasts around 8 laps, so not very long, in other words. It would be difficult, actually, to make a one-stop soft to hard work. That's 26 laps for both of them, 8 plus 18. And the race is 27 long. However, the intermediate tire lasts 14 laps. The full wet lasts 18. So we could go for a intermediate intermediate to intermediate if it does rain the whole race. Barely, just about. The tires would get to around 65%, I think. For the full wets, it would be an easy one stop.
Well, let's see how they do. So we have Ollie in the Renault. He returns with us. I think he's been missing for a few, so he's with us now. Lucky Finger in the McLaren. We have Crusader, who joined us last time around. That is V8 Field in the chat. Inbounds Cupid is back to us in the Renault. Snowball in the Ferrari. Sniper is back in the Racing Point, the sole Pink Panther for this race. Kango Con returns with us. He's in the Ferrari this time. I believe Kango Con is still a reserve, unless that's changed in the last week and I haven't read the notes. Sven is in the Mercedes. Casu with us in the Williams. Oh, that's a name I haven't seen before. Zwiedema. Not 100% sure how you pronounce that, but we're going to go with Excel Zwiedema. as Crusader is the first to get a time on the board with a 28.758. So as we demo in the Alfa Romeo, we have... we do have 2 Pink Panthers. My mistake. CD is back with us. I think we had CD earlier in the season, but we haven't seen him for a while. So
Race 1, yeah. Race 1, and he did not finish that one.
Hoping for better this... Well, he's parked. Facing the wrong way towards the end of the lap. Both Pink Panthers are actually going back into the pits, so that's gone badly for them. Tixi is back with us in the Haas, and J. Cole, one of our, numerous race winners. We are so far 7 for 7. Will we make it 8 before the day is done? Velo is looking to try and re-establish some control at the top of the field with a 27.540. What are your thoughts towards Paul Ricard?
Driving or commentating? I think I touched on the commentating earlier.
You did?
Driving, it's a love-hate relationship, really. It's I love to hate it, really.
Yeah,
I'm not the biggest fan. It's a tricky track in a couple of places, and the fun part of it is, as a commentator and to see these drivers do it, is that you can take multiple different lines through some of the corners. Mm-hmm. The ones that come to mind certainly are the long right-hander where Velo is currently getting out of the way there of what is that? Is that an Alpha Tauri? Yes, it is. That comes to mind. We also have the the twisty section at the end of the start of the second sector. Mm-hmm. If you look at the track map, top left. For the viewers, you can take a couple different lines there. You can sort of you're always going to try to set yourself up for the long straight afterwards. But it's interesting for the drivers. But for me personally, I never really know what line to take in what moment, which line is the best in that scenario. If you're on your own, what is the ideal racing line? If you are sort of in a battle, how do you defend? Where do you put yourself? It's such a wide track that there are a lot of ways to battle. It's still difficult to overtake, but there's a lot of ways to battle. And ultimately, if you battle a lot, it loses you time, and that to me was always a bit frustrating racing around here. But it can be quite fun, and especially, as I said, as a commentator, it makes for some great entertaining racing.
That we do. Now, something I have just noticed is our early championship leader, Moritz, is no longer a regular driver in the season. So after 2 DNFs and it wasn't with us in China, that's such a shame. Because, wow, he started strong and then it went very rapidly downhill for a while. Sadly, no longer with us. 2 of our race winners are no longer... I'm not 100% sure if Bryn was deemed to be a regular, but I think Bryn was actually always a reserve. But ironically, 2 of our race winners from this season are no longer in the regular driver roster. But J. Cole is our current championship leader on 107 points, very closely followed by Merckx, just 2 points behind on 105. Then it's Velo, only 10 points further back again. And then there is quite a big gap down to 47 points to Jake, who won last time out at Australia. Now, Jake is not with us tonight. So, I mean, we could well see an 8th winner from 8 different races. We will see. Wow, Velo didn't take long to get back out on track. Top 3 times very close together. Half a tenth just over separating the top 3 being J. Cole, Velo and Kango. I think all 3 of which have been race winners. No, Kango hasn't won. He came close. He was. He's been on the. He's done 2 races on podium, both of them. He was 3rd in China, 2nd in Australia. So can he make it the top spot this time? Well, he certainly can. I mean, my God, he's got a lot of pace. And in fairness, Merckx is only half a tenth further back still. So our top 4 very close at the moment.
Yeah, I think if there's one driver who can keep that streak of 7 race winners in 7 races up and make it 8 out of 8. I think it would have to be Kango-Kon, especially with the form that he's shown in the last couple of races. You mentioned it, 3rd in China, 2nd in Australia. I think the logical conclusion would be a 3rd, a 2nd, you continue that there's a first.
Wouldn't that be good?
Then again, I don't know what he's going to do in Singapore. He's going to have to finish 0th.
Yeah.
I don't think that's possible. But no, I think that would be the logical conclusion. But there's at least 3 drivers who are going to have something against that in the 3 current race winners that we already have on this grid in J. Cole, Velo, and Merckx. So it's going to be interesting to see. I see a top 4 battle here for the win. And maybe, just maybe, someone like Kasu can get involved. Someone like Black Panther can get involved. Sven currently a bit off the pace here. Tixi about 4/10 away from J. Cole. Maybe if they find a bit more pace, they could be a part of this as well. But well, we're gonna have to wait and see. Kasu on the mediums doing his outlap right now, so that seems like a bit of a tactic here. Depending on, this might actually be smart if there is rain coming in the race. There certainly is none coming in this qualifying session. Yeah, I think considering how overcast it was at the start of qualifying and how sunny and bright it is now, the French skies have really opened up and cleared up. If it rains very early on, the mediums are a bad choice. However, if the rain takes a while to come, if it takes around 9, 10, 11 laps, maybe even 12, 13, the mediums are the perfect choice here because he's going to save himself one whole pit stop when the rain hits, and he will be the easy leader of this race.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, Kasu's had a bit of an up and down season, but did get a podium in Monaco, of all places. Was 3rd that time out. Hasn't rediscovered that form yet. But, oh, wow, a new pole time on the board from Velo. With what looks like very heavily flat-spotted soft tyres. So a 27.3 on the board there. He's found 1.5 tenths over J. Cole at the moment. So we will see how that goes. Apparently, Crusader's just said, "Thank you for cutting away just before I crashed." Well, we're usually very good at doing it the other way around. I don't know if you have this. We commentators have a magic knack of just somehow cutting to people as it goes wrong. KangoCon has just jumped up as well. He put a 27.407 on the board, 44 thousandths behind Velo. So again, we're still seeing very, very close times towards the sharp end. Just 3:10 separates the top 5. J. Cole and Merckx still in the pits at the moment. Yeah, it's an interesting gamble, isn't it? From Kasu, who's the only one that's gone for that strategy at the moment. It's a decent gamble to go for, though. Like you say, if the rain isn't going to happen until much later in the race, then that could well come good for Kasu.
Yeah, and I'm a bit surprised that we don't see more drivers going for it, but at the same time, we have 3 drivers here who I think really should not go for it in the 3 battling for the championship, Velo, J. Cole, and Merckx. It's too early in the season to attempt something like this. They are so close in the championship that you really don't want to try something different. You want to stay with the pack and hope that maybe they make a mistake and you get the position, or you get some points on them that way. But looking at the rest, I mean, that's 3 drivers. We have 18 here. I think KangoCon might be served quite well to go for such a strategy. He would still qualify, I think, with the gaps between the tires being about 1.2 seconds between the softs and the mediums, and another 6/10 between the mediums and the hards, which I don't think we'll see the hards all too much tonight. But 1.2 seconds there of a gap. I mean, we add that to KangoCon's time, he would be just a 10th or so ahead of Kasu. So he'd be about in P8. Which, again, it would still be a decent qualifying position. It would still be a good situation to be in if the rain does, in fact, hit a bit later.
Very, very true. So we've got a mixture of people that have come back to the pits. Tixi is started another hot lap on another fresh set of softs. Only 0.03 of a second behind Sven at the moment. Works his way through turns 1 and 2 into the very twisty section at the end of Sector 1. As turns 3 through to 7. Lots of changes of direction. Very balanced car needed here. If you've got something that just wants to break away from you, you'll be fighting it all day long, especially in the wet. Now coming through turn 7 onto the broken back straight. You can see one of the Renaults is just going through turns 8 and 9. So you get a great old dose of slipstream and DRS down that straight. Now into the... I mean, they do brake, obviously, but it's so quick. It's, you know, the braking is over in the blink of an eye in these cars. Now onto the second part of that straight towards turn 10. Fast sweeping right. Here's a purple for Tixi in sector 2. So a lovely middle sector there. Now coming through turn 11. Very easy to just throw it off into the stripes. Now turn 12. I've seen many a car parked here through spins and misadventures. 13 and sweeps back the other way for 14. And then you've got to try and brake and turn at the same time. Very awkward turn 15 here. Has he got someone in front of him? Not close enough to make any influence to the time. To the line it is. It's 4th for Tixi. That's a 127.631. Couple of tenths off the top spot, which still belongs to Velo.
Yeah, and if I don't know if you've been on the onboard there with Tixi, I would assume so. A couple things that the viewers may have noticed here is that one, you really want to maximize the track limits here. You want to use as many curves as possible. The curves are very flat around here, and so generally, with very, very few exceptions, you want to use as much curb throughout all the corners as possible. And really only have about 2 wheels on the track or 2 tires on the track for most of the corners. Another thing to note with the final section of turns 14 and 15, for turn 14, the long left-hander before the final corner, you want to stay as close to the inside as possible, because if you do, you don't run risk of running wide, which would obviously then jeopardize your run into the final corner. So you want to keep that very narrow to set yourself up for a good and fast final corner and early acceleration out of that final corner onto the main straight. And it's a very tricky final sector overall. As let's see who is on a lap. Maybe we can catch someone.
Velo's coming to the end of that lap. He's in the section you've just been talking about. We've been riding on board with him since around about turn 8. So utilising all the track exactly as you just explained. Tixi has retired. I think he got back to the pits before doing that. And that is an improvement. A new pole time, 127.259 for the Mercedes.
Yeah, and, it was very strong. You may have seen that he did not attack the inside curb in the final corner. That is one of the few exceptions. You don't want to touch that because it unsettles the car too much on the sort of low gear acceleration, sort of second gear, third gear there. It unsettles the car too much. You get a little bit too much wheel spin. It doesn't help you. You don't get the traction. You want to get the traction out of that final corner. So that last curb on the inside, the drivers will try to stay away from. But again, for the most part, all the curbs here pretty much are fair game.
Kango Khan started another lap. He's trying to drag his teammate along with him, Snaybold. But I think Snaybold's struggling to keep up with his very, very fast teammate. Purple, Sector 1 for Kango's Black Panther has retired his car as well. A few people have called it a day with only 30 seconds left on the clock. Let's watch Kango Khan as he completes the lap. We're streaming down towards turn 8 and 9. All the way over the curbs, almost invalidating the lap, but keeps it true. Through 9, onto the rest of the back straight. Straightens up as much as he dares. At the end of Sector 2, is it purple? No. So purple Sector 1, but not for 2.
Well, he is 2 tenths up, so that would still be good enough for pole time.
It will indeed.
He just needs to match his last sector from his best lap, and he gets pole position here.
Can he do it? Through 12, into 13, again using every available millimetre of tracks. Oh, wow, I missed who that was. Oh, that was Sven getting out of the way. Into the final turn.
The line, P5.
Nicely done.
Across the line.
P2, 800s behind. Can Kango Khan do it? Answer. He can! That's a new pole time for the Ferrari, a 1:27.087. That was an absolute storm. It was a purple in, well, now the map's coming up purple across the entire board. But my goodness me, that was an absolute stormer from the Ferrari. Kangokol really making his, well, he's looking to make it 3-2-1 from his last three results. Exy is still out there in the Red Bull, as is CD in the Racing Point and Cupid in the Renault. What can the Red Bull do? The Racing Point is coming over the line, so CD.
Exy is still going.
Yep. Let's see what Exy...
He is half a tenth up in the after the first two sectors, so that wouldn't be a position gain. But if he gets a good final sector, maybe there's something. No. In fact, he lost a bit more time and did not even improve his lap time. So P9 for him it will be, and inbounds Cupid did not improve either. So Kangokol in pole position. Wow. He just needs to bring that home. But 27 laps around here. And the rain looming over the track will make that a bit more difficult.
Oh, yes, it will. So Kangokol and Velo take on the front row. J-Col and Zudima, the XL pair, take on the second row. Merckx and Tixi, row 3. Kasu and Sven, row 4. Exy and Black Panther in row 5. Crusader and Ollie take on row 6. Sniper and Snowball take on 7. Lucky Finger and Vina, the McLaren pair, take on row 8, and CD and Cupid on the back row. Now, what is the weather doing? Are we starting with rain? I'm assuming we're not, as I would have expected no one to run the medium tyres, and I was wrong. Oh,
yeah, because Kasu did switch on to softs.
Oh, he did. I didn't
near the
see
end
that.
of the stint, so yeah, so everyone was running softs there. So I think Kasu was just trying to get a feel for the mediums if he needs them in the race to sort of get an idea how they behave around the track. Just get familiar with them.
Because we don't know. We don't know how long the rain's going to last for as well.
Exactly. I'm going to tell you right now, if this rain disappears within the first, I say 6 laps, we're going to see a 2-stop here from everyone. If it disappears after that, I think obviously if it's sort of like lap 7, lap 8, the crossover, I think the drivers should go to hards. For mediums, I think because they last around 14 laps, you could try a 15 if you really want to stretch it. So if the crossover is lap 12, that would probably be a good point for the mediums. I do not think we will see the soft tire here in this race whatsoever.
Or you think it's going to be wet from lights to flag?
No, I'm saying the soft tire. I think mediums are hard. We could see. But the soft tire, because as fast as it is, 1.2 seconds quicker than the mediums, because it only lasts 8 laps, it would have to stop raining very, very late. That, again, lap 19, maybe lap 18 if you want to try it. It would still work, I think. It's risky, but it would still work. But that means 2/3 of the race at least in these rainy conditions. And at that point, everyone will have made one pit stop on the intermediates already, usually. Because, again, they last around 14. So we should expect pit stops at the very latest by the halfway point. One thing to note about the pit stops, you lose 22.5 seconds here in the pit lane. In dry conditions. In the rain, it's a little bit less. So I would say around 21 and a half.
Predicted pit stop shows no dry tyres at all.
Yeah, that always happens.
Oh, that always happens.
Doesn't mean anything.
There was me wondering if we were going to be for a wet race. Damn you!
The game only offers, like if the start is wet, the game only offers intermediate 1-stop or full wet, and you can play around with these two, but you can't ever add dry tires. It's a bit weird, but it is what it is.
It is what it is.
So that doesn't mean anything. The drivers will switch on to dry tires, possibly still. Yeah, unfortunately. But yeah, 21 and a half seconds. One thing to note about the pit lane, 60 kilometers an hour, 37 miles per hour, the reduced pit lane limit here. For whatever reason, I honestly don't know. I mean, the pit lane is wide enough, I think. It's certainly long enough. It's one of the longer pit lanes on the calendar, but at the same time, it cuts out the final corner, so that's where you gain a little bit of time. Otherwise, it would be much worse.
Oh my god, just watching some of those onboard shots, the offline looks absolutely soaked. So that's going to be interesting. If anybody is going to try and make a overtaking maneuver, they have to drive through a lake to do it. And that's assuming the rain doesn't actually get any worse. We're actually assuming it goes to dry. It could actually get worse for all we know. But we will see as the drivers are taking their slots. There is Cupid taking the final position. As we jump to the front of the queue, we know this procedure. The lights come on. It is time to wind them up and let them go. Oh, that looked like a fairly decent start from Velo. Bit more steady from KangoCon. Lots of shuffling, as you always imagine. Down towards the turn one, and Velo's already gone into the lead. Can the Mercedes hold on to that? Or will the Ferrari manage to get that one back into turn one? No, that's Velo into the lead. I saw something scraping along the ground. I wasn't sure if it was front wing or a bollard. That's one of the Williams, I think, flying wide. That would be Casso, who's the only one in the field. And KangoCon's actually retrieved the lead before they got down to turn three. Nicely driven by our drivers. That's very well played indeed. It looks like everybody has survived, which is very impressive in these very wet conditions. Wait for the scoreboard to sort itself out. KangoCon leads, Velo leads, J-Col up into third, Tixie in fourth, and it looks like has everybody made it through all right? We've some shuffling going on, but no massive gaps so far. Bit an unusual one, fourth to fifth. At the moment, so well, no, that doesn't really look like 3/10 to me. I know that timing can take a little while to update, but very well driven so far.
Yeah, the timing is stuck right now, it seems, at least to me it is. But one thing I noticed, Velo got the better start, was ahead at turn 1 and turn 2, but then he got a massive moment of oversteer on the exit of turn 2. KangoCon kept it smart around the outside of turn 2 and got the better run, and then got the position back before they even got to the braking zone. So a slight mistake there by Velo, and it immediately cost him the position.
And KangoCon really getting into his stride now. He's already got several car lengths of a gap.
Oh, Velo!
These
runs wide through turn 14, and J-Col now liking what he sees there. Velo really struggling ever since he's gone into the dirty air of KangoCon. He's really been struggling here, and runs wide multiple times on that first lap, especially in the last sector. So he really needs to get used to these conditions, because from what it looks like, they're here to stay.
Indeed. Now, I did wonder whether he'd gone for more of a dry setup, so a bit less wing, but you'd run a fair amount of wing here, wouldn't you, under normal circumstance?
You'd run about a midway setup. You wouldn't run too high wings, you wouldn't run too low wings. It is a track with an average speed of around 227 kilometers an hour on the lap record, so in race, lap record doesn't take qualifying into account. Which is on the higher end. It's comparable to sort of Australia. It's comparable to Suzuka. Suzuka is slightly higher, 230, but 3 kilometers per hour difference doesn't mean all too much. So it's sort of in that realm, and for Suzuka you run slightly lower than average, and for Australia you run slightly lower than average. So here you would probably run slightly lower than average as well. I think in the dry, so the wings go from 1 to 11. For the front wing, you'd run around 3. For the rear wing, around 7 or 8. Maybe you go for 4, 8, which would be smack bang in the middle. Basically, what you do to calculate is you take the average. The average of 4 and 8 is 6, and 6 is also the average of 1, the lowest setting, and 11 the highest setting. So it would be in the middle as Velo goes too deep once again, and J-Col on the outside now for turn 15. Does Velo leave him space? No, he doesn't. Shoves him off, and J-Col has no choice but to stay back for now. But yeah, so you would go with slightly lower, but obviously in these conditions, I think they've bumped it up to, I'd have to guess, if they didn't forget it, hopefully. I think maybe Velo did.
That's what I'm wondering.
Yeah, but you would bump it up to around 610 is probably what I would go for. So 2 to 3 steps up from what you'd normally run.
Well, either that or Velo hasn't put the downforce up enough. So he had put it up a little bit, but not enough realistically to cope with these conditions. Yeah, they are not looking very forgiving. Tixie had a bit of a look at J-Col there for third place rather. wasn't able to pull it off. Look at that. Nearly 3 seconds to the good for the Ferrari now. But equally, if Velo has run a bit less wing on his car, and it does dry up, that could really come back to the Mercedes driver. That's a big, big gamble, I'd have thought, in these conditions. Oh, that's Zudima that's gone a bit into the water. That's not going to be helping his charge, but at the moment, that's not going to cost him too much time. Look, my goodness me. I would not want to be Velo right now. He's got two very hungry piranhas right behind him of J. Cole and Tixi. They very much look ready to bite. It's very hard, isn't it? Velo is usually right on it from the word go. But it's very much, I mean, still second is a great position to be in, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't seem like the pace is with him at the moment. We'll have to see how that plays out as the race continues.
Yeah, I think it certainly is a downforce issue. He runs too wide all the time. It's not that he's braking too late. It's just that the car just doesn't grip, and you can see it. If you look closely, you can really see how the car... He tries to fight the car, but the car fights back, and that's not the kind of relationship you want between a driver and the car. So really, really an issue there for Velo. One thing, if it does go to dry, one thing I always like to do, and I think some of the drivers would do that, some of the drivers would just go straight for a sort of compromise setup, where, they don't go fully wet, they don't go fully dry, they go for sort of a middle of the road setup. What I always like to do is compromise on the rear wing, because you can't change that, obviously, but at the same time, for the front wing, you go full wet if it's wet, and you go full dry because you can change that in the pit stop, and you get the dry wing on. You have to remember that. Oh, as J. Cole gets a slide there out of the chicane, you have to remember that at the pit stop. If you forget about that, you're going to have way too much downforce on your car for the dry running.
Yeah, indeed. We're seeing a few decent battles for him. It looks like Black Panther and Sven almost side by side, coming down towards 10-11. Black Panther can't quite get alongside the Mercedes at the moment. We did jump on board with him a few times just to see how it looks from the tail end of this big train. Bit of a gap between Tixi and Sudima. We did see the Alfa Romeo off into the water a little while ago, which is part of the reason for that gap being there. But all said and done, it is generally one long train. Bit of a gap between Kasu and Exi. It's about 2.9 seconds there as Kango Kong gets another fastest lap on the board. His lead now 3.2 seconds up front. Oh, wow, Exi's completely on his own. 2.8 seconds behind Kasu. You can just see the train going through the shot there. And then Snowball 4.5 behind him. As Cupid and Vino are having their... Oh, wow, they really are having an argument into the final turn. Oh, no, CD! CD's in trouble. Oh, wow, he was a long way off the road at the final turn. He's already on the penalty board, so things not going well for the returning Racing Point driver. There is Kango Kon. Just to remind you, he is actually the leader of the race and enjoying some free time up by himself. But once again, J. Cole just... I get the feeling J. Cole's not trying to hold back. He's just trying to pick the right moment to make a move, and Velo doing a great job making that job very difficult for him.
Well, I would have to slightly disagree because J. Cole is using a lot of ERS. He's got a lot less left in his battery than Velo. Velo's running at around 80%, J. Cole under 40. So that's a significant difference. I think J. Cole is trying to get past, but he just didn't find the right spot yet. He's looking.
That's what I was meaning.
Well, I mean, yeah, but he is trying.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to say.
Oh, okay. Because it sounded like you said he's not trying. He's just looking and trying to find the right spot, but
no,
trying to get the move done yet. But
no.
He's trying.
I agree. I think he's really pushing to try and get the move done. Velo's just doing a great job of defending against him. That was the words I was trying to go for. I just probably got them the wrong way around.
Maybe I just misunderstood. But either way, yeah, Velo, as much as he does struggle with the car, he is still able to put it in the right places at the right times, and it's certainly something that looking at the difficulties he seems to have driving the car, sort of reminiscent of the difficulties that the actual Mercedes drivers had in the testing driving the actual Mercedes car. he does a great job of still doing what he has to do to keep at least that second place. I mean, Kangakon's gone from the looks of it, but he does a great job of at least holding on to that second place and making sure that J. Cole cannot escape either.
New front wing for CD, unfortunately. His race going from bad to disastrous. Everybody else, he seems to be... Really?
He's going up to mediums.
Really? That seems a little brave, because the rain is still falling slightly. I mean, the clouds are beginning to clear, but that seems a tad early. But then if he has a broken front wing, he's doing that out of necessity than choice. I'd say that's a few laps too early. But we are... Oh, was that a hint of sunshine? Yeah, I think we're starting to see the sun beginning to break through. The rain has certainly eased up a little bit. So again, this will kind of play into Velo's hands a bit if he has gone for a lighter downforce setup. Other people may be gambling on the rain lasting a bit longer than it seems to be good for. So, you know, Velo... I was going to say Velo's not out of the fight yet. He never really realistically was out of the fight. He's still only in second. So, yeah, still doing a great job. Interesting, he's gone on to, you know, where the rain is still forming. You know, you can guess who's caused that yellow flag. Yep, I'm afraid it is CD, who's fair play for giving it a try, and he really was forced into a difficult position there as Tixi get his name on the penalty board now. Yeah, he's going to have to... He's spun again, unfortunately. Yep, he's out. He's decided enough's enough. Did he crash the car? I think he actually crashed the car. I don't think he voluntarily retired it, because we see him parked on the inside line there. And that's triggered a safety car. Oh my! Now that's really awkwardly timed, because the weather is not yet good enough for dries. And there goes Kangakon's lead.
Yeah, that for one, and it's a really difficult question. Thankfully, the drivers have a bit of time to think about it, around a minute, I would say, until they get to sort of pit entry, maybe a bit less for the guys at the front, like Kangakon, Velo, J. Cole, and Tixi. But the question is, do they come in now? Do they go for... I mean, at this point, the only logical choice would be the hard tire. The medium would not last. So they would have to go for the hard tire. But do they? Or do they decide to stay out and wait for this rain to ease off? Because, I mean, it's going to be about 2 to 3 laps behind the safety car. Which means that by the end of lap 9, and it's going to be around... I mean, we run a minute 30 here, over a minute 30 in dry conditions. So we run over a minute 40 in wet conditions, which means it's a 5 minute for 3 laps with no safety car. So about, what, 6 minutes, 6.5 minutes behind the safety car in the wet? And J. Cole, Tixi, and Zuidema are all coming in. Velo and Kangakon are the only 2 staying out.
Of the
Maybe a couple more from behind, but from the top 7, yeah, from the top 8, Merck stays out as well. So interesting choices here. And I think some of them are going for intermediates now. That's interesting. All of them, actually. So they think it's too early for the dry tires, but they still decide to pit for intermediates.
Curious. Very, very curious.
Yeah. Very surprising, I have to say. I did not expect that, but...
I'd have stayed out. I'd have stayed out.
Yeah.
I don't see the point in coming in now. Again, like you say, they know they're going to be behind the safety car for a few laps. They know that the rain is easing up, although, you know, it is always questionable how long the rain will ever last for. I don't know that that's the right decision. I really don't.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
cost
put
them a lot of track position.
Yes, but J. Cole down in 7th, Redeemer 8th, Tixi 10th, Sven 11th, Black Panther down all the way down in 13th now. And there's no reason, you know, assuming the safety car, yeah, even if the safety car came in next lap, it's still too wet. So they're still going to run, and there's still life. What was it, 14 laps? Did you say the Inters last for?
Yes.
So there's plenty of life in these Inter tyres. That's a terrible, terrible... I can't see the benefit of that plan.
Well, the benefit of that plan comes into play if the rain takes that long to ease off, that we're talking lap 20, even lap 16, 17 would be enough. they've made a pit stop under safety car. They get to close up. Everyone else would have to pit for inters later on, and then for dry tires, or pit for dry tires before they are ready. Either way, it's gonna hurt them for one with the over 20 seconds lost in the pit lane, and if they pit too early to the point where as KangoKon, Sneybold comes in, his teammate, what's he gonna do? Is he gonna go for dries? Or is he also gonna go? He's also gonna go for inters, new inters. I would say about a lap too late. He's gonna lose more positions from that, but I guess. Maybe he heard me. Maybe he heard me, because if they expect the rain to ease off in about 15 minutes, or maybe even 20 minutes from now, then this is the right call. But if it's earlier than that, if it happens before lap 15, actually with the safety car, probably even 16 or 17, because they're not using these tires very much right now, then I think those who stayed out made the right call instead.
Well, we will see. This is very much in the hands of the weather gods at the moment. As we see the field working the way through, we don't know when the safety cars are going to come in. The light's still on, so no indication of the safety car is coming in this lap.
We will get the notification, if anything, halfway through the upcoming straight. So the end of the second sector split. If the safety is coming in, I think it will. We will get the notification right now.
Nothing there. Oh, there it is. Oh, there it is. Wow, you were so close. You were so close on getting that up to spot on.
It was a bit late. Usually it happens right on the second sector line. So race control was a bit slow there. Not my fault.
So this is really all down to the weather as to whose strategy is going to come good. As KangoKon backs up the pack, then Velo right with him. So KangoKon, Velo, and Merckx, still, they're all championship contenders, of course. So they're in prime position to really help the championship if the rain goes their way. But equally, if the rain goes on some time, J. Cole, who is, I say, in 6th position, so he's not massively down the field, but he has sacrificed some positions in order to get some fresh tires on the board, and we don't know as yet whether that gamble is going to pay off as KangoKon comes around the last bend. Anyway, he goes. We are racing here again in Paul Ricard, who is going to benefit then from this safety car. And that's Tixi and Ollie swapping around. I think slightly too early, but they did swap back again, so shouldn't be any particular problem there. But
Ollie had an awful run. Ollie had an awful run out of the final corner. Tixi wanted to make the overtake happen, but it was too early, so he had to give the position back.
And Tixi's on fresh tyres, so he's just absolutely mugged Ollie, basically. Ollie had no answer to that, and Ollie probably didn't fight that one too hard. So Exy's got his teammate of J. Cole right behind. Exy probably won't try and keep J. Cole there for too long. Now again, that's also interesting to see whether the tyre difference is going to make a difference even now before we have an idea on what the rain's going to do. Because if J. Cole just climbs his way back and blitzes past KangoKon, everything we just said is made completely irrelevant. So, although that rain is almost stopped.
Yeah, there's still a bit coming down. But the difference between the tyres right now would be around 7 laps between them, so that would be around possibly a second a lap already. That's how quickly these tires do degrade. And obviously they're on very similar fuel, so that's not playing much of a difference. You got to remember that every time you lose a bit of tire wear, and as such grip, you also gain a bit of lap time from burning the fuel and making the car lighter. So they're on the same fuel right now, but 7 laps different tires is about a second at least on these tires. And Zuidema's coming in again. Is that for front wing?
I am not certain on that one. What is it? Unless Zuidema is gambling on the dries. But there's a McLaren coming in. Vino as well. Just seen the McLaren team come out. That's a front.
Yeah, that's the hards. That's the hards for Zudema.
Wow. Sven's in as well, so they're thinking that the rain
And
is-
mediums for Vino.
Yeah.
Sven is in.
Sven.
No, Sven isn't in.
Yeah. Oh, beg your pardon. No, he's. I thought Sven was coming in there. No, my mistake. Well, KangoKon's got to get on with it then. Well, he has done. He's got nearly 2 seconds between himself and Velo. Where is J-Col in all of this? He has dispatched of Vexy, although I suspect they swap round. We did also see the Williams pair swap, so Kasu got ahead of Merckx, although that looked like a choreographed move, as Brundle would put it. But look at the gap that KangoKon's got already. I'm on board with the Red Bull, and I cannot see the rain. So I reckon the rain has stopped. So
Yeah.
that is... I still think it would be a tad early for the drives, but I mean, it wouldn't be the first time I've got a pit call wrong. There's a lovely, lovely stationary shot, but you can see there's still spray coming off the back of the tyres, although that I'm sure is going to disappear fairly quickly. Actually, no. When you're on the closer shot, it doesn't look like there's any spray there at all. Who's had? Oh, it's one of the throws. Snabold is in trouble as Sniper gets his name on the penalty board. Oh, he's a long way off. As he returns
Everyone's
to the
coming in. Everyone's coming in.
Yeah.
Double stacks for Williams, for Red Bull, and that's gonna hurt Merckx.
Oh, that's gonna hurt Merckx. Yeah, and they just swapped round as well before the before the lap was done. And of course, J-Col's early
And
gamble
Mercedes as well.
and J-Col's
Sven's
having to be
getting
held. Yeah, J-Col's having to be held there until everyone's gone past him. Soft tyres, I'm seeing as well. That's a curious one.
It's an interesting one because they're gonna go for 2 stints on the softs. They're gonna have to pit again. Maybe they're hoping for another safety car later on, but they're going for a second pit stop for another set of softs then. Everyone else going for hards, a few for mediums. Honestly, lap 11, 16 laps to go. Mediums, a bit risky. Certainly they will fall off near the end, but early on, they should have some advantages from it. I think Vino might actually put KangoKon under some pressure here, which not something I would have thought considering the qualifying result. I mean, Vino was starting in 16th, KangoKon on pole position, and still, because of the different tires here, Vino might fancy this.
Yeah, but look where KangoKon is. He's down in 7th position now, with everybody ahead of him having pitted. He's lost out horrendously badly in the pit stop phase. Velo is in 3rd, attacking Zudema, who very briefly led the race until Kasu banzaied past him on those soft tyres. I mean, Kasu and Ollie they'll have to come in again. There's no way they're making those soft tyres last until the very end. So Zudema, in his maiden race in the season, he's on for a very, very good haul. But he's got Velo.
Not just that. It might even be a win. Again, Kasu still has to pit once more. Zudema does not.
True enough. Also, Tixi, if he can make those mediums last, don't discount the Haas either. So, and J-Col's not far behind. So, wow, the whole race has turned completely upside down with pit stops and tyre choices. I mean, how many times have we ever seen a race happen? But look at Kasu. He's already 3 seconds to the good.
Yeah.
Wow, he is. I mean, he has to be. He has to. Yeah, absolutely. But I mean, if he can build up sufficiently to what was the life of these 8 seconds? That's a tad. 8 seconds is a tad harsh. Might get through turn 2. yeah, might get through turn 2 if you're lucky. I mean, that's a bit of an arse to build up 23 seconds in.
He doesn't have to. He doesn't have to build up 23 seconds in just 8 laps. He's got 16 laps to do it. Obviously, he has to work through the field, but he will be on so much better tires.
True.
Right now, between the softs and the hards is 1.8 seconds. Once he pits for fresh softs, the hard tires will be a little bit older, and the gap the difference will be around 2.5 seconds a lap. He's going to be absolutely flying around this track, while the hard runners are going to be taking care of the tires and just going to nurse them a little bit. They don't really much have to. 16 laps on the hards is not a big deal, but they're just going to be significantly slower. Again, 2.5 seconds after the pit stop. Obviously, that will come down over time because those softs were out much quicker, but That's what we're talking about. So early on, any overtake for Kasu after his second pit stop should come incredibly easy, and the same is true for Ollie. And well, Sniper owns further back. Considering the gaps in front and behind him, don't think there's going to be much.
Tixi on the inside of turn 1. There's not a big braking zone there, so he had to trust that Zadima wasn't going to fly into him. So Velo's already dispatched Zadima whilst we were looking at that, and Tixi has made the move on the Alpha, and right behind Zadima is J. Cole. So there's a lot of movement in that top 5, other than, well, the only movement Cassie was doing is away from everybody else, which is exactly what he needs to do. Another penalty for on the board, this time for Black Panther. I'm keeping an eye on Tixi at this moment to see how well he manages those medium tyres. But what a great span of strategies we've got going on. We've got people that have gone onto the softs, like you say, you know, Cassie, Ollie and Sniper. We've got several on the medium, mostly on the hards, but it's all going to be, like you say, once the soft runners, and if needs be the medium runners, come in again, they will be absolutely lightning and doing quali lap after quali lap where they can. So nothing is settled yet.
Well, I don't see the medium runners coming in at all. I think they will try to stretch this to the end. I think only the soft runners are going to be the ones we'll see again. We will definitely see them. But I do not think that the medium runners are going to come into the pits at all. I think they will try to stretch this. They will get into puncture territory. Those medium tires will be at around 80% at the end of this race.
Ooh.
But right now, they are giving quite a bit more grip than the hards. And so Tixi certainly one who needs to make that overtake happen on Velo right now. I think the difference between those two tires and the mediums right now, probably around 3 to 4 tenths a lap quicker, but that gap comes down every single lap.
And Tixi also carrying that 3-second penalty, which could hurt. At the moment we've got trouble. Oh no, Sniper! Sniper's in trouble. Oh dear. I have a feeling he did that on his own, because Snabold wasn't near him. Oh, what's gone on there? He's spun again. I think he's out of frustration, unless he has a puncture. But I think Sniper is probably not having a good day in the office. I think it's fair to say.
I don't see a puncture there.
No, I don't either. So I would suspect he's just absolutely honed it out.
On Velo, oh my goodness, through the right-hander of turn 11, gets it done. Now into turn 12 here. My goodness, that was an overtake there from Tixi. Got the better run out of the midway chicane there in the second sector, and then just puts it alongside. It has the inside for the fast right-hander and gets the position. Now he needs to bolt. Now he needs to try and drive away. Sort of like Kasu, but obviously on slightly worse tires. Then again, the difference between those softs and the mediums isn't going to be as much as it was. Not even close. Fastest lap actually by Tixi. Look at that.
Has Kasu burnt the best out of those soft tires already? Tixi now really getting into his stride, because a little bit more pressure on him, because he's got to build up that 3-second gap and hold it. Assuming, of course, that no penalties happen on the drivers behind. But look at that lot. Velo, Zadima, J-Con and Ollie, all in really, really short order. Yes, Ollie is going to have to come in again. We know that, so he's not going to be able to hang on to that top 6. But, I mean, that would be that would be his best result of the season by quite some way, if he was able to hold on to that. But equally, if he's able to build up a decent enough gap to those behind him, and then, of course, come out on, assumedly, soft tyres again, he's going to have that pace that we've just been talking about. But yeah, Txixi's really starting to get the hammer down. But Velo, once again, just doing a great job staying in the tyre tracks of the Haas. I reckon Velo gambled on the drier strategy, and the Mercedes on the inside coming down towards Sullivan can't quite get it done. But wow, now that I didn't expect to see.
Yeah, Velo was quite wise to pull up there ultimately, and Tixi just used the anatomy of that corner really to his advantage, going way faster in and making sure he is ahead, and then starting to slow down mid-corner a little bit, because it is such a long right-hander, it's almost never ending, and he really used that. But here goes Velo into turn 1, and this time Tixi just completely pulls out. He knew what was going to happen, and he decided he doesn't want any part of it and lets Velo ahead. I understand why, but at the same time, I probably would have fought it a bit more, because ultimately Tixie's strategy now depends on staying ahead of Velo. It doesn't depend on being with Velo or anything like that. His tires at the end of the race are going to be significantly worse than Velo's, and as such, he needs to make it happen. He needs to stay ahead and ultimately drive away a little bit. And he's not doing that. Kasu, meanwhile, I was looking at his times, and I think it's safe to say his tires have been falling away a little bit. He's not lapping in the 31s anymore like Tixie is. He's lapping in the mid 32s now, so his soft tires have seen their best days at this point, and he still has to stay on them for a couple more laps. I think, when was his pit stop? Let me quickly check. It was a lap 11, so I would expect him to come in lap 19 again.
Vino's had a bit of a moment up there at turn 9, so he's now back underway. I know I'm very much concentrating on the top 6. Ollie is in, so he's ditching his soft tyres.
Mediums.
It's going to be mediums. Surely he's going to be mediums. He can't do softs again. Let's just see what the Renault team have got ready for him. That's
mediums there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the only option, really.
Yeah, but at that point, I think at that point it's safe to say Ollie made the wrong strategy call. He would have been better served just going on to hards and just going with them till the end. That extra stop now is not worth it for mediums, for softs and then mediums. Either you go soft, or you go, if you think you can make the mediums last to the end, just one stop onto mediums, or otherwise you go straight onto hards if you think you can't make them last. But soft to medium, not the right strategy here for Ollie. He will be a bit faster than Lucky Finger and Crusader now, at least he should be on the tires. He might be able to get those two positions. That's only about 5 seconds away. In fact, Crusader has a penalty, so that should make his job a bit easier. But yeah, it's going to be difficult for him to get into the points. He would have to catch up to Exy and P10, and I'm not sure that that is on the cards for him. But Kasu, if he comes in now, I don't know, he won't. Good. I would have been very surprised. I think next lap is when we're going to see Kasu in. In fact, he's not gained any time. If I look at his lap time for this lap, it's a 1:32.9. Velo, as he comes across the line, 32.6. So Velo at this point is faster than Kasu by 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, Kasu's going to have to bite the bullet and come in. I was just looking at people's ERS levels. J. Cole at the back of this train actually has the least amount of power to use, and really he would be the one that you could argue needs more than everybody else because he's at the back of that train. Really, now the momentum swings back to Velo with Kangokon down in 6th position. What is he, 8 seconds behind? So, and I've been sort of keeping an eye on the gap. Kangokon's not really been able to gain an awful lot, if anything, on the train ahead of him. So, from being the early leader, as suddenly not, doesn't have the pace he needs. And again, I wonder if that's set up base because, he's absolutely monstrous in the wet, but now that extra downforce acting against him. Merckx, I wonder, has gone the similar kind of way because Merckx hasn't been able to get past Kangokon. Oh, Tixie and Velo side by side.
He fancies it.
Well defended.
It's a nice try. You can make that work, but he needs tires in better condition than they are right now compared to Velo. If he does that 6 laps ago, he's going to pull it off, but now it's a bit too late, and Kasu has stayed out indeed.
Yeah, he's not in.
That is surprising to me.
He's losing
time. I think
time.
the wrong call as well. If he pits at the end of this lap, he has to pit at some point. These tires are now on their 9th lap. If he pits at the end of this one, it will be 1 lap too late.
I think it already is because he's lost a good second or so in the last couple of laps from this pack behind him that are fighting, bear in mind. So yeah. I think Kasu's left that too late. I mean, easy for us to say in the commentary box as Ollie and Lucky Finger swap round on the exit of the final turn. The Renault ahead of the McLaren for 12th position, some distance away at the moment from Crusader. But Crusader carrying some penalties on the ball. So he got 3 seconds. Well,
He gets TC.
Oh, 60 on Velo side by side into turn 8 and gets it done on that back straight. Some more penalties on the board. And where's Casu's not near the pit yet, but Casu's losing so much time. He must know. Surely he must be aware of the amount of time he's losing to that pack behind him. But has Tixi already burned the best out of those tyres? The hard tyres are probably coming into their prime about now. The medium tyres may well have lost just that sharper edge that he would need to build up that 3-second gap that he needs. Well, to build it and maintain it, as
Yeah.
that's going to be the problem.
Oh, Casu's in. Again, as we mentioned, I think a lap too late.
He's going. I bet he's going for softs though. That's why.
Yeah, obviously.
That's why he's strung him out as long as he can.
Yeah, but he could have gone for soft lap 19. He would have had 8 laps after the first pit stop and 8 laps after this pit stop. But now he made it sort of 9-7. And if anything, you would want your second stint on the same tyre to be slightly longer than your first. Because obviously with less weight in the car, less fuel in the car, it works a bit better on tyre wear. So you can stretch tyres a little bit longer in a second stint. And so, I really don't understand why you stayed out for that long. But it should make some overtaking easier here. He should get Sven. You see 1.9 seconds. You see how quickly it's coming down, 1.6. He's going to get Sven within this lap. Maybe even Black Panther as well.
It could well do, as Sniper is still continuing to have a bad day. The Racing Point pair are having a bad one. That's another penalty for Tixi. Oh dear. He will be ruining those track limit penalties. Zedema has got 3 on the board. So he's not realistically in this fight. So it's between Velo and J-Cole, both of which are former race winners. So in this season, we may finally have our first double winner of the season, but still another 7 laps to do, or remainder of this lap plus 6 more. So anything could still happen other than rain. I think we're past the weather stage now. Whoops, a bit of a screech of the tyres from Tixi there. He's probably pushing hard to try and do something about the penalties, but I think he's just going to have to go into bring it home mode at this stage. I mean, we'll see. He knows what that car is feeling like far better than I am. But I suspect if he pushes any harder, he's just going to keep building the penalties. But we'll see.
Yeah, here, meanwhile, Caster has already caught up to the back of Sven and Black Panther. He's got the overtake button engaged. He's going to try and make it 2 for 1. At least he gets 1 in Sven. Black Panther, is he going to fancy the move? Yes, he's so late on the brakes. Slight wheel banging there with Black Panther, and that's 2 1/4 for Casu.
Oh, Black Panther may feel a bit aggrieved by that. He went to turn in, but there was a wild Williams in the way. I mean, fair play to Casu. He's got 9 seconds to catch up to KangoKon, who has lost the position finally to Merckx since we last looked at them. So KangoKon's race really depended on the rain lasting much longer than it did. Of course, that has well and truly backfired on him. But that top 4 still really, really close together. But J-Cole, I think, is the one that's going to lose out a little bit. Mainly just due to the fact that he's got comparatively no ERS to use. Velo need do nothing now. He just needs to sit there, even if Zedema gets past him. The only person that Velo needs to worry about is J-Cole.
Yeah, that's the situation right now. Meanwhile, I'm looking at KangoKon and Merck now. I think KangoKon, it's not the last we will see from him for 2 reasons. One, Merck in front has a lot less ERS than KangoKon does. Once again, we're talking sort of 80 for KangoKon, 50 for Merck. So significant difference that will play a role in the final laps of this race, I think. Likewise, Casu is catching up to these 2 at a rapid rate. We're talking, let's just quickly check the lap times as they come across the line. KangoKon 32.6, Merck 32.6, Casu 30.6. 2 seconds in 1 lap.
Wow, I mean, he'll be with him in he'll be with him in about 3 or 4 laps. Yeah, pretty much, yeah. But I mean, he's still, Cassidy could still be on for a good haul. His previous best was, I say, 30. He did see the podium in Monaco, and before that, I think, was 7th. So, or something like that. As Velo's actually gotten back past Tixi again. Once again, turn 8 and 9 being the favoured overtaking spot. certainly for Velo. He didn't need to make the on-track overtake, but he's decided to go for it anyway. And Tixi still hanging on to the back of the Mercedes. Thinks about an inside manoeuvre coming into 11. Gets alongside with Velo, but can't get the traction where he needs it. I mean, is this really... I just wonder whether it's realistic for Tixi to battle this hard against Velo with the penalties, unless he's going to try and force Velo to try and pick up some penalties. But 6 seconds worth with 4 to go.
Velo goes defensive in the final corner. That's not helping Velo. What is going on here? He's letting both of them by. Why was he? He was going way too defensive in the final corner, and then no traction on corner exit, and they both mug him off on corner exit on traction. And I don't understand.
It was a mistake. I think he just caught that apex a little bit too hard and settled the car. He was just cautious getting back on the gas again, and now J. Cole is all over him. But Velo is now in a really awkward position because he doesn't have any... He had a cushion at least behind him in the form of Sedina. Velo needs to really, really get on with it now as they're going to catch a sniper. Sniper pulled over to get out of the way.
Yeah.
So, fair play. Now we're actually seeing Zadima go for the lead. He's managed to get Tixi heading down towards turn 8. This is a nightmare for Velo now because if Tixi starts to slow down, if the best of those tyres have gone, this could have badly backfired for Velo. Sadima's got those hard tyres have got plenty left in them. Does Sadima have enough to build up a gap? And yes, he's got the penalty to overcome. I think it's only 3 seconds. Double check that. Yeah, it is.
It is.
Oh, this isn't done yet, but it's. Oh, I don't know. It really depends.
Oh, Tixi's.
He's lagged. That's lagged.
Oh, he's lagged. No, I don't think it was lagged.
No?
What is? No. You got a 5-second penalty for corner cutting.
I think a game freeze or something like that.
Is he started to spin, and now he goes into the pit lane. Is it to retire?
I suspect so. Yeah. There we go.
I think what happened is he spun to the right, immediately was aware enough to use the reset to track button, but he actually spun off. I think his tires had just gone to the point where he can't use them, and so he decided to just retire because, I mean, where would he have finished? Probably outside of the top 10.
Really?
So he's decided he's had enough.
You thought he would? I didn't. Well, with only 3 to go, I'd have thought you'd have, been able to mainly, maybe hang on to sort of either 4th or 6th or something like that.
I mean, not if your tires are gone. Not if your tires are completely gone to the point where you have to either pit or risk a puncture. I think he overused the tires just too much. I mean, it would be interesting. To ask him. I don't know if he is willing to join after the race. I know generally after such races where you retire this late and in this good of a position,
you're not really wanting
to be quite frustrated. Yeah.
Well,
so I would understand if he says no, but it would be interesting to hear what was going on there because I suspect he overused the tires in the whole battling with Velo, with Zadima, with J. Cole. And the tires were just completely gone to the point where they could puncture at any moment, and he knew he had to pit, and he had no pace. And you saw the spin there on the exit of turn 11. So I think that's what was going on there.
A shame, but the race goes on as yellow in sector 3. That's Sniper again. I think pulling over to let people. He's just under constant blue flags, unfortunately. But the top 3 still very close together. Ozidima will be kicking himself for that penalty. The best he can hope for is to hope that one or both of the cars behind him gets a similar penalty. Oh, can you imagine that if both Velo and J. Cole get the dreaded 3-second penalties as Zadima comes home to make it 8 for 8. But we will see. 2 laps to go here at France, and once again it hasn't disappointed in the craziness that we're seeing in this lap. Velo closing in again on Zadima. He's not going to close in enough before turn 8, I wouldn't think, and no he doesn't. But what's the warnings for Velo and J. Cole, if you could double check for me please, Mr. Austin?
I can check very quickly. For Velo it's 2 warnings on lap 2.
Oh wow.
Check quickly but nothing since. And both for track limits. So he's been skirting the penalty for about 25 laps.
Wow.
Wow.
That's impressive.
J. Cole got his first on lap 3 and his second on lap 20. So both of them are on 2.
So it is. I mean, it is possible.
It is possible,
It is
yes.
still possible for both or one or both of them to pick up that final warning in the final lap that we are now beginning. Lap 27. Will Velo go for the move?
On Zudema for the lead on track. Down the inside into turn 1, and he's got him.
He has indeed. And he should be able to hold on to the... Oh, he's still using all available bits of the track, in fairness. So he's not shy to flirt with that dreaded warning, but on he goes nonetheless. We should be seeing... again, we're coming back to the original point of our first double winner of the season. Velo really has... He's had constant good results, but the last 2, he's been on the podium. He's had 3 podiums through the season, and he looks absolutely set to make it a 4th and a double top step finish into turn 8. Wow, Zudema still pressing on, not giving up until the checker flag falls. And fair play, he's still looking at a podium finish as Kango Kon and Merckx are having an argument on the exit of turn 9. Who's going to win out? Will it be the Ferrari or will it be the Williams? Merckx slightly ahead. It's going to be Kango surely on the inside coming through turn 10.
Kango had more ERS. Merckx ran out of ERS, but Merckx is trying around the outside here. Might work, but not this time. But he needs the cutback here. Tries it. He's full on overtake mode. He doesn't have much more left on the lap. The drivers have a deployment limit, the green bar, that you might be able to see. And Zudema tries to go for the move on Velo into the final corner. Not working here. Not the best overtaking spot.
Look at that, the podium 3 over the line in very short order. Velo takes the win, our first double winner of the season. J-Col second, Zudema third, Kango Kon manages to hold off Merckx for 4th position. Kasu, it was a brave effort, but comes home and still in a decent 6th position, which I believe will be the best of his season so far. Black Panther, a solid 7th place for him, chased home by Sven, but Exy inherits that 8th position. Ollie comes home in 10th to round out the points paid positions. Merckx already left the session. Here comes Crusader over the line in 11th in the Haas. Lucky Finger in the McLaren, or both the McLarens coming home almost not well. They're coming home together, sort of. Lucky Finger comes home for 12th. Vino in 13th. Snaybold in the second Ferrari is going to claim 14th position. Cupid in 15th. There he is coming through the final turn. And Sniper's race. Well, I mean, a fair play for him to continue, continuing on, not just throwing in the towel. He does finish 2 laps down, but he does indeed finish. Fair play to Sniper there. What? This is becoming a broken record, but I think we'll all agree. What a race!
Yeah, certainly, and it also gave us the answer. What's quicker? 2 stints on the softs, 8 laps each, or well, in Kasu's case, 9 and 7, or 1 stint on the hards. Around here, around France, it is definitely the 1 stint on the hards by around 10 seconds. So, Kasu, nice try there, but ultimately didn't work. Zudema, driver of the day, awarded by the game, and I think in his debut here in LOE, I think he earned that one.
Yeah, that's a decent shout, actually. I've got no objection to that at all, but great effort for Velo. 2 wins of the season, 4th podium, and a solid result in between as well. And J-Col, another podium on the board for him. That's his 5th podium now. But yeah, so that's going to strengthen, I think, J-Col. Well, J-Col should still be in the lead of the championship, but I think Velo is going to be the one that will be chasing him down. There it is. It's now raining on the results screen, so wow, the weather changes very quickly in France. So Velo takes the win. J-Col 2, Zudema 3. This is before Stewart's intervention. Kango Kon in 4th, Merckx 5th, Kasu 6th, Black Panther 7th, Exy 8, Sven 9, Ollie 10th, Crusader 11, Lucky Finger 12, Vino 13, Snaybolt 14, Inbounds Cupid 15, Sniper 16, and we lost Tixi and CD. Right then, people, we have got drivers wanted to have a chat to us, so let's get the background music on the go and have a chat to who is ready to talk to us. Right, let's have a look, shall we? Let's shut the crowd up for us.
Meanwhile, I can just quickly, for the top 3 in the championship, the provisional standings after this race. and it's quite pleasing for anyone who might have OCD, which doesn't include myself. J. Cole is leading with 125. Velo is second with 120, and Merckx is third with 115. So it's exactly 5 points between each of them. So
We love symmetry.
Very, very interesting, that one.
Well, who to chat to first? I want to have a chat with our debutant. Third place in the race, only due to penalties, but what a way to start the season off. Zadima, are you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Firstly, I hope I'm pronouncing the name correctly, but what a race! You must be pleased with that.
Yeah, that was one of the most fun races I had on PC. On PS4, we had the same sort of race with also Jekyll and some other guys. It was also a 4-man fight, and it was very, very similar to this. And it was, yeah, the rain was just, I was really slow, and I couldn't really keep up. Like, I was keeping up, but I was struggling. And then when the safety car happened, I decided to pit because the tires were worn pretty well, and in the pre-race it said race is going to stop near the end of the race, so I was like, that's not going to make it. So I pitted for new inters, and then all of a sudden it stopped again, and my Jeff was like, go on dries, but it was still raining, and since I didn't really have anything to lose, I was like, let's just do it, we'll see what happens, and it paid off, I guess.
Didn't it just? Is Paul Ricard a favourite of yours? Do you tend to do well in France?
Depends on the game, but on this game I do pretty well.
Excellent. And it's Singapore next time out for round 9. What are your thoughts towards the twisty streets?
It's probably that and Japan are probably my favorite 2 tracks, so that's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm
Excellent.
hoping to do well.
And they are indeed back-to-back, so we look forward to that. Well, what a great way to start your season off. Fair play, well done, and best of luck for the remainder of the season. Thank you very much, Sadima.
Thank you.
Second place, inherited, but still very well deserved. J. Cole.
Hello.
Another podium visit for you, sir. Were you expecting to be leading the season by coming up halfway?
No, not really. I'm not gonna lie. I know that there was quite a few quick lads in here. In all honesty, I'm still a bit shocked at the fact that I am leading it. I think it's just more I've been a bit luckier in this season, and I suppose other than like Velo and Merck. But you know what? At this point, I'm happy with where I am. Today even as well was just. It was quite interesting. I must admit, it was one of the more fun races I've probably had this season. So, you know what? I'll take it.
I mean, you did look like you really were working hard. Now, sometimes, we've seen you just kind of sit in the slipstream, do what you need to do, but it looked like you were absolutely thrashing that car for all it was worth. Was that fair to say, or did you have some in reserve?
No, it's definitely fair to say. I was trying my best to actually keep up with the rest of the guys, of course. I know Tixie went on a set of medium tyres, I think it was, and I was just trying to sort of keep up with him. I saw he got past both Zudema and Velo, so I was like, okay, I know I'm in this battle with the other guys. It's just, I was more or less just hoping Velo would end up getting a penalty, but no, he kept it clean as a whistle, and at the end, it just worked out for him.
And what's your thoughts to Singapore?
I quite enjoy the track. I think it's definitely like a different, very different compared to France. So I do quite like Singapore. I know it's very difficult for probably for quite a few guys. I'm hoping a few of the guys that are just behind me in the championship will smash their front wings. But I know saying that, I probably end up will next week. So hopefully that doesn't happen. But I'm hoping to have a good battle with a few of the guys and hopefully try and maintain this championship league going into the break week afterwards.
Well, I mean, the luck. I was not going to say the luck has been with you, but I think it's fair to say you really have earned the positions you've had, and long may they continue. Great race, well done, and good luck for the rest of the season. Thank you very much, J. Cole.
Thank you very much.
And Velo, our first double winner of the season, has taken 8 races for that to happen, but you're the one to take that accolade. Are you with us? Velo, can you hear us? No, he's gone! Well, he's disappeared! No, Velo, we wanted to speak to our race winner. Oh, there he is! Velo, are you with us now?
Hello.
Hello to you, sir. Our first double winner of the season. But wow, I mean, again, that didn't look straightforward. You were chased home. I guess with the penalty that Zadima was carrying, that must have sort of made you think, okay, I don't need to push quite so hard. But you had J. Cole right with you, right up to the end. What was running through your mind?
Actually, yeah, I thought I had it in the bag with the penalty, but I still wanted to do it on track. But I don't know if you caught it on stream, but Inbounds Cupid's ghost car, which actually wasn't the ghost car, blocked me and let Tixi and Zuidema past. So it kind of made me super nervous.
Oh, we didn't quite see the ghost. So I can say I can't recall seeing the ghost car, but we did see you. We weren't quite sure what happened there because it looked like you were quite slow out that final turn, and then suddenly the whole dynamic seemed to change because like you say, you were suddenly in third with J. Cole on your tail. So now we have the answer to that.
Yes, exactly. I can actually put a clip here if you are.
Oh, we believe you. we weren't questioning you. It's just like both of us, both me and Badger, were like, "What the hell happened there?" But now we know. But first double winner again, well deserved, absolutely. But did you envisage that you would be fighting this hard for wins through the season?
No, not exactly. After first race, I realized how fast examples merged Moritz, J. Cole would be, so I made me practice much more and maybe more motivated.
All good stuff. And what about Singapore next week? Is that one you're looking forward to?
I have to find an excuse to skip it.
He's one of those tracks, isn't it? It's very divisive. You're either really looking forward to it or you really, really aren't. It's very much a Monaco in that sense. So, but whether you compete or whether you're on the sidelines, we wish you the best of luck for the remainder of the season. Thank you very much, Valo.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
We also have another one of our finishers. Black Panther, you were with us.
Yes, I'm here.
Well, welcome to you. Another solid result. So we didn't see an awful lot of you, I'm afraid, as the front battle was pretty hectic, but you were involved in quite a few battles, I noticed.
Yeah, I was like in with the battle with Sven like the whole race nearly, but I was expecting him to attack in the last 10 laps or something like that, but he was just sitting back in my rear end, and I don't know if he was like trying to force me into a mistake or not, but yeah, I was expecting him to go for it on the last lap, but he never actually attacked me. So yeah.
And also, you two are next to each other in the championship, or you were leading into this round, 5th and 6th, 46, 42. Is this a sign? Is this a sign of things to come? Will you two be locked horns all the way through the season?
Yeah, I think that it's gonna be an interesting battle for the rest of the season with me, Kasu, and Axie and Sven. I think like we have a 4-way battle. We always finish like right next to each other. Now is Kasu the better driver for today for sure, but it's a shame that he selected the softer tires, that the game made a mistake or something like that. He told me. So yeah, otherwise it would have been a great result for him because he was very rapid today.
And what about the streets of Marina Bay? Is that a favourite for you, or was that not one you're looking forward to?
I quite like the track, but I don't like the pit exit. I had a moment before and where I touched the inside wall and got disqualified. So
oh no!
I hope that won't be the case this time.
Indeed. So best of luck for the remainder of the season. Thank you very much, Black Panther.
Thank you.
And that is going to be it for this evening. Thank you very much to those that have been with us throughout the stream and those catching up after the event. Always a great pleasure to have you on board. Thank you very much, Herr Smith, our very own Badgerman, for keeping me on the straight and narrow. A great pleasure to have you in the box with me, good sir.
Yeah, always a pleasure watching these races and I mean, getting to talk to you as well.
Oh, you're far too kind. As mentioned, next time out, it is Marina Bay before we have a break week after round 9. So do join us same time, same place for the streets of Singapore. Until then, thank you very much and good night.